Hey guys, welcome back. Today I am begging Horizon to bring this uniquely beautiful model back into active production. For those of you who missed out, it's just too good and does so much. It would be a real shame to have it be consigned to the dustbin of Horizon's discontinued model catalog.
What's going on YouTube? Today we got the story of the EC1500, a model that you pretty much just can't get anymore. And this is probably one of the better Horizon models that I'm really just kind of sad that they've discontinued. Like you'd be hard pressed to find them anymore. There's maybe a couple of hobby shops that still have them. Hangar 18, our awesome hobby shop here in Cary, they have one on the shelves, I think. So if you want one, you can go there, but pretty much everybody else, you might be SOL. If you haven't got one already, chances are you may never get one. So we're gonna make this an ode to all the cool stuff you can do with this plane. It is a 3D monster. You can do Harriers, you can do inverted Harriers, hovering, flat spins are out of this world. Rolling Harriers, believe it or not, knife edge passes, this thing does almost everything. And on top of that, it actually has a functional cargo bay. Check this out. We're gonna throw the hold switch. Hold open. Isn't that goofy? We brought a bunch of snap pops today. So we're gonna test that out in a bit, see if those things will actually drop from the plane first and foremost, whether they'll detonate, and how cool it's gonna be to see it do it. We're gonna feel like a C-130 Loadmaster dropping bombs out the back of this thing, except they don't really do that. They would drop pallets, but screw it. So I've got this thing set up really, really well. It's dialed in. I haven't flown it on wheels in quite a while, but this thing has got full span ailerons. So I mean, if I want it full span, I can have it. The original version of this plane came with the option so that you could change the, there's like a little connecting plate in there. You can actually change the connecting plate to give it large ailerons. So the plane would actually roll using these two sections instead of these two. So like right now we have it set for the large flaps, but for those of you wondering, how did you get it set up for full span ailerons if you have the large flaps? 8-channel receiver, it's in the setup video. 8-channel receiver lets me mix the flaps independently to function as ailerons, and also work as snap flaps, and also work as lift canceling, get the wing the hell out of the way, Harrier mixing. So this lets me actually put the Harrier, or the plane into Harrier in a very stable Harrier without very much wing rock at all. And it's just phenomenal how good it is. This also has almost every servo in here has been replaced except for the cargo door, which you can hear, and the rudder. Everything else is using the AGFRC servo upgrades that I use in every one of my other 4-cell planes. So we're just gonna take this up right now. We're gonna do a nice scale takeoff, and then we're gonna do some 3D stuff with these. The two batteries we're running right now are two 2200 4-cell 30C smart packs. Throttle open. Look at this baby go. It's beautiful. Okay, we're just gonna whip it right around. Elevator flaps. Into a Harrier. It's got power to spare. You can see I'm fully back on the stick right now, watching my hands. All I gotta do is use rudder to turn the plane. It's a little wing rocky. Some of that is turbulence up here. This airport is not known for having easy to deal with winds. And it also has narrow runways. So it's a little bit more challenging to fly like this. Go ahead and clear the taxiway, sir. Avoided that tree at the last second. Wing normal. I used to be terrible at this kind of stuff. Now I can do it no problem. But I mean, this plane does pretty much everything you want it to do. It does inverted Harriers too. Let's take it up and make it do flat spins, because it does those better than a lot of my other models do. Make it go into a snap roll. Hold elevator and hold some rudder. Give it some throttle, flatten out the spin. I'd go a little lower with it, but the trees are right there, so we can do that again in a little bit. One thing it doesn't do well is inverted flat spins. In fact, if it does them, it doesn't do them in a way that's very appreciable or cool. It doesn't do knife edge spins either. And it's not very good at hammerheads. But for what it doesn't do, elevator flaps. It does Harriers exceptionally well. Look at it go into an elevator. There we go. Bring it back around for another Harrier pass. 15.22 volts. Then we'll try to put it into a hover. The wind is coming from directly into the path of the plane right now, so it may be kind of difficult to hover, but I will do my best. There we go. We'll do it above the grass. Less likely to damage the plane if I screw something up. All right, stay away from Tony. There you go. Okay, we're gonna go ahead and pull out snap flaps.
Snap flaps.
For the lift that we need. Wind's kind of messing with it. There we go.
14.92 volts.
It definitely hovers better on floats. It's almost flawless on floats. Let's try it with the wind rather than into
Snap
it.
flaps. 6 minutes.
So I got a momentary hover out of it.
Wing normal.
Wasn't expecting anything amazing, but it does work. All right, let's do a knife edge pass, get some speed.
14.35 volts.
Does pop tops too. Pretty well.
Elevator flaps.
Gotta be careful when you put it into the elevator / Harrier mixing. It is a bit of a weird plane to fly, but it's rewarding you with really stable Harriers. A lot of my other models, I wish I could get them to be as stable as this one is.
14.08 volts.
I mean, look at it go. We're maybe 3 feet above the ground right now, and it's just stable as all get out.
Snap flaps. Wing normal.
All right, pull her back up. Yeah, it's a fun model, and it's just a shame that you can't really get it anymore. Let's make it do rolling Harriers if we can.
14.79 volts.
There we go. We still have plenty of power. It's a 2-cell setup, or sorry, 2x 4-cell parallel setup. So there's more than you think. Screwed it up a little bit. I have to wear gloves on my hands to keep my hands from being too sweaty to fly. Those of you guys who've made remarks about why do I have gloves, they're my bicycle gloves for road biking, and that's why I have them. It allows me to grip the transmitter at this time of year without me losing control of the plane. There we go, finally got a hammerhead out of it. All right, so you guys have seen a lot of the performance this plane has. It is much more performant on floats, surprisingly. A lot of planes are actually worse on floats. This one is better. Not in terms of speed or roll, but in terms of like Harrier potential and in terms of hovering. It just hovers like almost effortlessly on floats. Look at it go. We're almost touching the grass with the, yeah, we just hit the grass with the tail.
Wing normal.
With that stable Harrier pass. Now let's go up and
14.46
put her into a flat spin, nice and far away from the trees. So we got plenty of time to stay in the spin. And it will actually keep inertia in the spin. Some models won't if we let go of the throttle. We'll just keep doing this weird S-turn climb until we get high enough where I feel comfortable. All right, into the spin with some rudder, elevator input. Now we're letting go of the throttle input. It's going faster now, look at it go.
14.56
That was insanity. How much, that must have been like a 700, or at least a 360 spin rate, 360 degrees a second.
Flaps full.
Look at the flap performance too. It can come in nice and slow with those giant flaps.
Flaps up.
Come on, Horizon, bring this thing back. We deserve
9
it.
minutes. 14.35 volts.
I'm not gonna lie and say it's the most performant model I've ever flown upside down. It does feel a little slippy. Try to keep it from sliding into the trees. But an inverted Harrier, it actually performs pretty well. And I'm happy with it. So, I mean, honestly, man, what else could you ask for from a model? This thing just flies so well.
13.97 volts.
All right, now it's getting ready on time for us to bring it in. Wind's coming from the rear of the plane currently. So we're gonna go ahead, we're gonna get ready to drop flaps. We're gonna make a high G aggressive bank into the landing pattern, military style. Not the way this plane would fly, but
Flaps full.
just to bleed off some airspeed. And as we get over the taxiway, we're gonna drop crow. You see the plane immediately start to sink. Add some throttle. And there we go. We got a pretty good flight out of that. Honestly, I mean, the hovering potential wasn't what I was hoping it would have been, but the fact that this thing can hover at all is testament to how cool it is. You guys have seen me hover this thing in the past if you've been a channel subscriber for a while. Get it right up on my face. Let's go ahead and get her taxied over and we can talk about some more features of this plane and other reasons why Horizon really needs to bring back planes like this. One of the major reasons I love this plane is just how well it's built. It is built for a foam aircraft. It is built like a tank. The control surfaces are completely removable, so you can actually pull these off if you grab them just right. See? Pop it right off and then pop it back in place. If I didn't pull it all the way out. Yeah, there we go. You can actually remove all three hinges from the plane. It doesn't damage anything to do that. So you can actually get in there and clean them out. You can adjust things. You can actually get in and adjust the linkages without having to leave you can actually take the wing apart easily if you needed to. It's really cool. The elevators are actually two pieces that you can pull off. The only thing I didn't like about mine is they were tabs, so they were kind of hard to, I couldn't guarantee that they were going to stay put. They started sliding outward. So you'll see this little line right there. That's CA glue I added inside of it to make sure it would never come off. Sure, it's easy to transport if it's not glued in place, but you know what? Being easy to transport is not always the cool thing. I want to make sure that these things don't come off, because if one of these is active and the other one's missing, well, you got kind of a problem there. You're not going to be controlling a plane. It's going to roll every time you try to give it elevator input. Overall, I mean, look at the quality of this thing. I've had this for about a year now. It is just, it's beautiful. You can see some dings here and there from how I've flown it. The orange color from the Carbon Z-Cub is actually a perfect match for this. So I just need to fill some of the holes on the plane with putty and then just hit it with the orange paint and it'll look brand new. I was able to hit it with the 0451 number, which is one of my favorite numbers. It's, if you're a gamer and you've ever played the System Shock series or Deus Ex, 0451 is always the beginning gate code in the games. And there's a reason why they're called 451 games. It's a reference to Fahrenheit 451, the novel. So I just had to put it on there. I had my choice of any number. I could have put 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8 on it if I wanted to. You can do whatever you want with these things. But now that we've had the first flight this thing's had in quite a while, we're going to take it up and we're going to drop some stuff out of it. And we'll see how successful that's going to be. This is a cargo plane, right? Well, Tony, the quartermaster, just loaded this thing up with some snap pops. Big old pallets worth of them. So we're going to take this out and we're going to go have some fun with it. But first, I think we're actually going to push these back a little further, just in case, because they might come loose a little too fast and then do nothing. There we go. Well, that was, well, one of them went off. That was underwhelming. Let's go ahead and land. Try that again. All right, so we're going to do attempt number 2 on this. We'll go ahead and load her up right there. Get the door to close up. Is it all the way? Looks like it. Cool. All right, let's go ahead and try that again. We'll take off the direction the plane's currently facing since we have basically no wind.
Snap flaps.
Compounding this issue is that we're flying with 2X 3200 four-cell smart packs, and they're not exactly light, so it's making it more difficult to do this. You can already see there's like I'm barely touching the stick and it's trying to fly on its own.
Normal.
So that might make it hover a bit better. Okay. Yep, take a step back for me, sir. There we go.
Elevator flaps. Hold open. Wing normal. Hold
It worked.
closed.
Once I figured out the correct routine for it. Sweet. I bet there's still some unexploded ordnance in there. So let's go ahead and get her back in.
3 minute flaps.
Dump the
full.
flaps. And then as we get closer to the ground, we'll dump the crow.
Crow.
You can see the plane beginning to sink without throttle as the crow's applied. So I'll use a little bit of throttle on the glide slope to make it nice and gentle. There we go.
Wing normal.
Pretty cool. If I do say so myself, that was pretty freaking cool. I'm glad I bought all those snap pops. Now, I just wish I hadn't bought as many as I did, because I only have like another 1,000 of them at the house. What's going on, guys? So, as promised, we're going to do a little bit more bomb dropping. We're gonna get this thing set up. I just loaded the rest of my snap pops into the back one by one, funnel them in there. We're gonna see how well this plane flies, or if it flies at all. Actually, you know what? The smart man would actually check the center of gravity before flying, so we don't get a Bagram Air Force Base incident here. Let's check this out real quick. All right. Oh yeah. Oh, we're good. We're good, baby. Let's do this. Let's do this.
Throttle open. Flaps.
I gotta make sure to leave this switch for the hold closed, because I keep thinking it needs to be open for the gear. So last thing I'm gonna do is have it all pop out the second I fly. Here we go.
20 seconds.
A couple of them came out of the hold already. Unsurprised.
Flaps up. 30 seconds. Hold open.
That was a buttload of them. And I bet there's still some more in there too.
Sure, there's a lot in there still.
There was more in there than I thought there were.
Hold open.
There goes a couple.
Hold closed.
They're not going to pop because they're going to hit grass. But we still did it.
Elevator flaps.
All right, so let's get back into the 3D routine and see how well she can elevate her and do Harrier and other stuff when she's got two 3200 packs in the snoot to balance out. The answer is pretty good. I mean, we're right above the grass.
Snap flaps.
I almost want to replace the rudder servo so I can get more travel and authority, maybe more torque out of it. Getting a little close to those trees. There we go. Oh, starting to stall. She's not as performant with these heavier packs. This is basically, it's two 3200s in parallel, so that makes it off the cuff 6400. So more than I was expecting. Whoa. She's more susceptible to stalling at slower speeds, especially at higher angles of attack like this. That's why we have full span ailerons, so we can kind of fix that.
2-min elevator flaps.
We may have to enter hovering with the elevator flaps. Yeah, it's a little unstable otherwise. It's still wing rocky too. Yeah, it's gonna require some precision control here to keep it intact and away from those trees. There we go. Come on, Horizon, release this plane again.
Wing normal.
Yeah, it's just too nose heavy to try to float in a hover. Let's take her up, do a high-speed crankshaft type thing. As you can see, this plane handles just about anything you throw at it, even with the heavy batteries in it. And the wings don't break, although if you do some aggressive high G maneuvers as Tony zooms in on this model, you will see that the wings bend. Quite a bit, in fact. Look at this. Giving it a lot of dihedral now. Look at the bend. Okay, we're gonna throttle down so we don't break the carbon spar. It is solid, but aerodynamic forces being what they are, the spar may actually break through the foam. So we gotta be real careful.
Elevator flaps.
Trying to be nice and, what do you call it? Cheeky. Coming into a quick Harrier like that, but with this heavy pack, you have to be a little bit more Johnny on the spot with how you manage controls. But this is definitely one of the better Horizon models that came out in recent memory. It's just a shame that it's been discontinued, and I don't know if it's ever gonna come back.
Snap flaps. Wing
But if it wasn't a 3D plane, there'd be no way to have gotten out of that hovering maneuver I just did. So.
Elevator flaps. 4 minutes.
She's a little touchy. Once you get her post-stall flying on the thrust alone, get those wings out of the way, then it becomes a little bit more docile. But until you get past that point, so there's no, like the airflow is already broken over the wing, the plane does have a tendency to want to stall. Yeah, it took me a while to to the point where I felt confident doing stuff like this at this airport, given how close those trees are. They're much closer than you might actually think.
Wing normal.
So let's do inverted Harrier while we're at it. Less than stellar on this heavy setup that it's flying with. Let's go downwind. Giving it full down elevator.
5 minutes.
Yeah, it's not something I feel confident enough with it to get too low to the ground. All right, let's do a quick pass and then brake and then bring her into land as soon as we check our voltage.
14.77 volts.
Yeah, getting close to the point. Let's go ahead and get ready. All right, sir, let's clear the runway. We're gonna do the same thing we did before, a nice aggressive bank to bleed off airspeed.
Flaps
Pull the
full.
flaps out. As we get over the taxiway, we're gonna drop the crow to slow her down real quick.
Crow.
Not bad. Again, this is seriously one of the best Horizon models
14.85 volts.
of that type. It's not gonna be for everybody. I'm not gonna pretend
Flaps up.
and say, oh my God, it's the best model ever. You can't even get it anymore. I'm not trying to be a plane salesman. I'm just saying I love this thing, and the fact that I could just airdrop snap pops for the 4th of July was pretty sweet. Next thing I want to do, if I want to kill this plane, is load it up with some M80s on a really long fuse and then drop them out the back, and hopefully the plane doesn't explode in midair. That'd be kind of a cool footage too if I didn't get it done just right.
We end the glorious saga of the EC1500 here. It's a wonderful model that's built really well. The real shame here, though, is that you have to be lucky to find it anymore. I know a common complaint with radio control pilots is they want to know that they're not buying discontinued models. You know, what happens if it gets discontinued? What do they do then? Thankfully, Horizon does keep parts support for a long time after discontinuing a model, but it's not something that really inspires confidence in the RC community. Do the right thing, Horizon. Bring back the EC1500. In the meantime, we will keep this bird flying. See you guys out there.